Lynn's on today. Erin and Kathy, good morning. You guys, today's chapter is all about getting uncomfortable. So we are in chapter 11, Self-Aware Leader by John Maxwell. What's up? Aniko's on. Hey, Juju or Julie. Amy's on. Hey, Kelly. Okay, so we are in chapter 11. And this chapter is Take the Longer Road That Leads to Higher Leadership. I really like this chapter. This is all about getting comfortable. It's literally about getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. Because when you get comfortable, you're hitting plateaus, you're stalling out in life and in business. And this chapter aims to challenge you to get out of your own way so that you can get to the next level. Okay, so we got to ask ourselves, am I willing to give up all that I have for a new level of growth? So this is all about risk management. Now, I will tell you guys this. There comes a point in time in every network marketer's career, if you've been in the industry long enough, and I will say 90 is long enough, but this happens in everybody's career at some point. And you get to a crossroad, and you get to a crossroad in your career where you start thinking to yourself, is this as good as it gets? Am I as far as I'm ever going to get? Is my paycheck, have I already seen the heights of my paycheck? Is it going to always be downhill from here? And we start looking at everything else around us. We start comparing our checks to everybody else's check. We start looking at other people in the industry, other companies out there. What do they have that I don't have? What am I missing? And I'm telling you this because it happens in everybody's career. It happened to me many times before I joined My Daily Choice. And I literally I went from company to company looking for the next level of my growth. And I thought that if I had changed my company, then I would find a new level of growth. And I thought, I'm just taking the risk. It's a risk that I'm leaving this behind to go to, somewhere new, something better, greener pastures, right? And now while there is some truth to that, what this chapter is about isn't necessarily about running for the hills, but more so, when is it time to dig? When is it time to double down? When is it time to climb a new mountain and not get stuck on a plateau or halfway up the hill looking for something else? So the road to a new level, what does that look like? Max Dupree writes, by avoiding risk, really risk what is most important in life, reaching toward growth, our potential, and a true contribution to a common goal. Okay, so like I said, this is all about getting uncomfortable. So if you've been comfortable, if you were comfortable in April because we had a sale, you probably got really uncomfortable in May if you didn't do the same level of activity that you did in April. And self-aware people understand that the reality that everything worthwhile is uphill, okay? And all roads to the places we most desire to go to are long and require us to make trade-offs, to choose one thing over the other. Okay, so I'm telling you guys all this because I'm going to tell you, before I got into My Daily Choice, I hopped around like a lot, all right? I looked at every opportunity there was, and I wasn't a numbers person or a math person. I was just an avoidance of personal development person, if that makes sense, okay? I was looking for the easiest way. I didn't want to make sacrifices that were too difficult. I was always looking for the shortcut. I was always looking for the elevator to success. I didn't want to have to take the stairs, and basically what this chapter starts out by talking about is everything worthwhile is uphill. You cannot climb to the mountain by floating up there. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to climb. You got to put one foot in front of the other. You got to put your head down and grow. And there's no other way around that. Now, what I found that was really interesting was every company that I went to, I got to the same level of leadership every single time before coming to the same crossroad that I had always run into, which was, do I develop myself and continue leading, or do I just stop now, which is where I always stop, find something else, and then rebuild up to the same level again? And so this chapter is talking about it's time to dig deep, right? It's time to put one foot in front of the other. It's time to continue on our journey. Otherwise, you're just making the same mistake over and over again in the same level of effort over and over again. And so we cannot trade security for opportunity. Now, if you've been comfortable in the last year, it's time to switch things up a little bit. If you were successful in the first half, if you were super successful in the CBD boom, right? In the 2017, 2018 boom, if you were super successful then, that's your first half. What are you doing now in your second half? Because if you do the same things you did back then, I guarantee you they're not going to work now. Because if you want to succeed now, you're going to have to try new things. You're going to have to learn new things. You're going to have to do different things. And the higher we get in leadership, the harder it is to make trade-offs. Now, this chapter is all about trade-offs, and one example he uses, I'm going to talk about later is, if you're pouring tea into your cup over the stove, right? Pouring and pouring and pouring, and the water or the tea is just overflowing all over the kitchen, right? All over the place. Now, a normal person would say, no, you have to stop pouring because you're spilling all over the floor. But sometimes us in our lives, we just keep pouring. We keep adding things to our life, and we don't ever think to subtract things. And then we feel overwhelmed and burnt out, and we get exhausted, and we're thinking, why doesn't anything work that I'm trying? Because we've got too much going on. And so this chapter is also going to be about trade-offs, how we have to take some things away in order to put things back in to our life. That makes sense. We got to be willing to give something up in order to get to the next thing. Now, the other thing is we don't want to harm others with the decisions we make by keeping what we have. There's in your career that you're going to have to make, and you got to be comfortable with making. And sometimes they're not going to feel comfortable at first, right? But if you're making short-term sacrifices now to build something for later, you have to understand that that's going to require a really big vision on your part. Okay? Now, one thing, I feel like Josh and I reached the pinnacle of what we thought success was. Now, I talked in our last video about what success is. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It's a process. It's going after something you intend to do. It's living the life you intend to live. But by society standards, I feel like we had reached the success, by a normal person's book. We had the car, we had the houses and all that stuff. But we had a bigger vision than even that. Now, when we first got to that level of success, we were like, now we have to keep growing. We have to keep leading. We have to keep doing something that's worth meaning in our life. We had to make better choices. And sometimes it doesn't make sense for people at the time. I'll tell you guys, my boys, 16 and 11, almost 12, we sold our mansion with a basketball court in it. They were like, why would we do that? You guys made so many sacrifices to get to this level of success. Why would you just, get rid of it all now? And it's because we had a different vision for ourselves. We had a bigger vision. We had to make sacrifices in order to go to the next level. And the next level of our success wasn't that. Okay? So we got to make better choices. A slower path to make better choices throughout your career will help you become a better leader and then put you in a better position to help other people as you lead. This is all about delayed gratification. Now we live in an instant society, instant coffee, instant oatmeal, fast food, fast loans. And none of those are really great choices, right? The longer we wait to pay, the greater the price because interest compounds. Pay now, play later. That's something that John Maxwell's father instilled in him as a child. He said, we're going to pay now and play later. I don't know if you guys have kids, but I tell my children, eat your broccoli first. If you have a sandwich and chips, eat your sandwich first. Eat the thing you don't want to eat first. Eat the frog. Brian Tracy talks about that as well. Because you have to make the sacrifices first in order to get the gratification later. And if you're always chasing instant gratification, meaning your paycheck comes in and you spend it on something that's not going to further you in your goals, like hair, nails, makeup, that's fun, but is that really getting you where you want to go? Is it? I don't know. Okay, cosmetology, you can buy that. That'll help you further your goals. Outside of that, I'm not so sure. I think you're just wasting your money. But let's talk about that for a second. The interest is going to compound. The more you delay the decisions you need to make to get through the hard things first, it's going to be worse for you later on. So let's talk about, I have a few things I'm going to share with you guys. Actually, a list. It's a good list today. We've got 9 things we're going to cover in a short amount of time. So let's get through it. Number 1, choose accomplishment over affirmation. That's interesting because, I study things like Bob Proctor, He talks about affirmations and putting things on your window, but this is something else. This is more satisfying the ego. It's accolades, right? So when I talk about affirmation, I'm talking about recognition you need from others. So choose accomplishment over the pride of recognition, okay? So number one, don't be a people pleaser. That's really difficult. Sometimes it's hard for me and Josh because we have a lot of people in our company and we're always like, okay, this group is unhappy. So what can we do to fix their problems? So this group is unhappy. What can we do to fix their problems? And it's like, man, we're just running all over the place trying to make everybody happy. At some point, these people are going to have to make themselves happy, right? So we can't be a people pleaser because there's no way to make everybody happy. It's impossible. It will end up draining you if you try to make every single person happy on your team. It's impossible. So you got to choose accomplishment over affirmation. Number two within this list is don't be sorry, this is not number two. Don't write down. Lynn's taking notes. This is not number two. These are my subtitles in number one. Okay. Don't be an affirmation junkie. Praises and accolades are like smoke that quickly fades away. Awards turn to rust. That's a sad thought. Think about it though. Financial rewards are quickly spent. You can't be an affirmation junkie. You have to do things for the right reason. I think that's what this is all about. We had some people leave our business a few years ago because they didn't get their award on stage because they didn't qualify for 2 to 3 months or whatever. And by the time we ran awards, they weren't in the system, and they left the business over that. They were in the business because they wanted their award. Well, I'm going to challenge you guys to think a little bigger than that. Dig a little bit deeper over that because it's about your accomplishment. It's not about what you receive because of your accomplishment. It's about what you're doing. You're choosing something of significance. You're trying to make a difference in other people's lives. That's why we're here doing what we're doing. But you got to make a choice here. Would I work to accomplish a worthy task, or would I expend my energy trying to make myself look good? That's weird, right? to think about. And it's very, very valid, I feel like, for network marketing. Are you focused on doing the work, or are you focused on trying to look good? Are you focused on doing the task you need to do, or are you focused on trying to look like you're doing the work? I know we've heard this before, fake it till you make it. But what does that really mean? I mean, I think it matters what you're actually doing, not necessarily how you're looking like you're doing, if that makes any sense. So choose accomplishment over affirmation, over the outward things in life and in your business, because otherwise you're not going to feel very satisfied inside. You're going to start wondering why you're doing what you're doing. And if you want to do something with purpose and with meaning, you got to be doing it for the right reasons. All right, this is number two. Number two is choose significance over security. Now, we are raised, all of us, I feel like, unless you grew up with entrepreneurs in your household, we are raised to think about security, right? You must stay in school until you graduate, till you're 18 years old almost, right? Then you must go to college, and then you must start a career, and you must sit there in that career for 30 to 50 years of your life and hope that you have just enough money so that then you can do what you want to do with your life. Talk about delayed gratification. That's a lot of years to put into the system, okay? But choose significance over security. You know what I realized early on in my network marketing career is that there's no security in jobs. And, and everybody's like, I'm doing it for job security. No, what that means is you're turning a blind eye to the entrepreneur that is your boss. You're hoping that that boss has it in your best interest to let you stay there for however many years. But if something happens with that entrepreneur, with that business, you're still at a risk. And that's what I love about network marketing is you get to take that risk upon yourself. And I feel more secure taking a risk upon myself than putting it in somebody else's hands, if that makes sense. When you clock in and every day, my parents are like, well, you just need to get a job. I'm like, Mom, you work for an entrepreneur. What are you talking about? I need to get a job. No, you can work for me. I'm an entrepreneur. You're working for an entrepreneur. It's the same thing. There's no job security. There's no such thing. Somebody at somewhere in that is taking a risk. So it might as well be you. There's more confidence, I feel like, and more security in taking your own risk. So let's talk about this. What you give your life to matters. And success doesn't mean you're busy. That's not what it means. Okay, great leaders make a difference. It's not just what they earn or what they own. They're making a difference. That's the biggest part to it. And we see leaders all the time flashing everything that they've owned or earned, and we've done that in the past too because we thought that's what it was. It's not what it is. Success as a leader is making a difference in somebody's life. That's significance over security. And you don't want to stay where you are for security, because if you're doing that, then you're not making a difference. And if you're consistently adding value to people, you're making a difference. If you're not, you're never going to be satisfied, no matter what company you go to or no matter what job you take. So if you are not doing things to make a difference or to create an impact, at some point you're going to feel unsatisfied in your journey in network marketing or not. And so talk about making trades in life. You know, I've heard this before many times in our industry and in our company. People say, I can't build my business because I have 4 kids, you know, I got to spend time with my kids. I'm like, well, great. Then don't cut that part out of your life. Keep that part intact. What else can you cut out of your life? Well, I have to work. Well, you get to choose what kind of work you do, right? And so if you choose My Daily Choice as the work you do, then you're cutting out maybe your 9 to 5 or cutting out some hours of your 9 to 5 because you're going to have to make change. You got to make priorities, right? You have to choose what you're going to put your time into. So don't cut out family time, cut out something else. Want to make a sacrifice your job. Don't sacrifice your family. I'm going to keep my family and I'm going to keep my business. I'm going to cut out my job because that's a waste of time for me. But you get to choose that, right? Significance over security. When you do work that really matters to you, it elevates you. It energizes you. It creates a passion within you that is just literally so attractive to people that they don't even care what you're doing. They just want to know what it is so that they can have that level of energy and excitement in their life too. You know, when I recruit somebody, I don't have to say a lot. It's more energy. It's energy. It's like, yeah, like I'm living this life. I love what I'm doing. You know, I love talking to people. I love working with people that want to make a change, that are ready to get to the next level. Like for me, that's what it's about. I don't look at people like they're one of 10 customers I need for the month. You know, I look at it like, how can I invest in you and make some change in you that's going to give me a sense of purpose? Maybe I'm a sense of purpose junkie. I don't know. But that helps me be a better person and ultimately a better leader. Okay, number 3, you guys, is choose future potential over financial gain. Choose future potential over financial gain. What's this remind me of? I don't know. This reminds me of people that go to a company that is giving them a deal. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know if you've heard of that, but I'm sure if you've been in the industry long enough. I would rather have a future potential where I'm earning something significant and I'm creating significant change. I'm adding value to people versus a quick paycheck. Sometimes we need a quick paycheck, but if you can choose the right thing over following the temptation to chase the quick money, you're going to be a much better leader. You're going to have much better results. And for me personally, before I had money, I was motivated by money. After I had money, I was no longer motivated by money anymore because I realized money is just money. It's energy. It flows. It comes in, comes out. We spend it, we earn it. You know, it's always in motion. So there's no point in stressing over it. What you want to stress over is the actions that you're doing, the potential that you're living to, and putting that ahead of your financial gain. Because if you're only making decisions based on money, you're going to be dissatisfied. Period. Always be willing to put future potential ahead of financial gain. There's always going to be temptation to go for quick money, but if you're willing to sacrifice financially on the front end for a possibility of greater potential, you're almost always giving greater chances for higher rewards, including financial ones. And that's the most interesting thing about it. When you're not chasing the money and you're aiming to make an impact and add value to people's lives, you get paid for that eventually. Like, it all works itself out. You know, so I don't know who said this exactly, but maybe I heard it from Ray Hagdon or somebody. But basically, your financial status, your income is going to be in direct relation to the amount of people that you're helping, which is why we can't say that, rich people are bad. Well, maybe some of them are, but maybe some of them are not. Maybe they just helped a lot of people. And in network marketing, you can't get rich in network marketing unless you're willing to help a lot of people first before you help yourself. So that's number 3. Choose future potential over financial gain. Now, a lot of us are here for financial reasons, but I'm telling you, you got to put these priorities in place first, or it's just not going to work long term. Okay, number 4, choose personal growth over immediate gratification. We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but our culture has issues with delayed gratification. Literally, fast food, fast loans, fast, instant. Everything has to be fast or we lose our interest. Even our advertising is down to 3-second videos instead of 2 minutes. 2 minutes is now too long. We won't watch a 2-minute video. In fact, some of y'all are like, man, when is she going to get to the end of this? I have an appointment, right? So not everything's going to be instant, but we've got to become aware of that importance of personal growth. You got to put off or sacrifice personal pleasures, conveniences, or luxuries in order to pursue personal growth opportunities. Willpower is a muscle that we exercise. You know what I'm saying? Like self-discipline is something that you have to exercise. It's not something that you're just like innately born with. You're not just like, you know what, I'm going to get up today. I don't feel like going to the gym, but I'm going to go anyway and I'm going to work. Like, no, you have to train yourself to be that way. I'm going to show up to my business every single day. I'm going to make 10 phone calls. I'm going to close 10 deals, whatever. Like, this is an exercise you have to go through. It's part of personal growth. It's disciplining yourself so that you can get what you really want versus what you don't really want, but maybe that's easier. Does that make sense? Dedication to growth will always allow you to keep leading. All right, number 5, you guys. Choose focus over further exploration. Focus over further exploration. Rob Sperry says to decide. To decide means to kill off all other options. That means this is the path I'm choosing. I mean, if there are other people successful in MDC, that means I can be successful too, right? So I can choose. I can choose my daily choice. I can choose my team. I can choose the current leadership. I can choose focusing on that versus further. I'm going to try over here, but if it doesn't really work, I'm going to try this over here. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to try over here. If you're always dabbling, you're never going to succeed at anything. So don't dabble. The problem with dabbling is you never become great at anything. Jack of all trades, master of none, right? And so you have to focus on your craft. You have to master it. If you want to become a master affiliate, you have to master network marketing. You have to decide that you're going to become a professional. You're going to learn the skills that it takes, and you're going to develop the willpower and discipline within to stay with it and see it through. You can only go so far if you specialize in something. If you don't specialize in anything, you're going to have a difficult time. You got to specialize in sales, specialize in people skills. You got to work with people. Find what you're good at and then stick with it. And now you may not be good at it right away, and that's okay, because if you're deciding to become good at it, you become good at it. I think it's 10,000 hours, 10 years, about 10 years in, if you do this consistently. That sounds like a long time, and some people are way faster than that. It took me 10 years to really understand network marketing as a trade or as a career. But once you find your niche within the industry, stick with it. Number 6, choose quality of life over quantity of life. Quality over quantity. So this has to do with the teacup overflowing, right? You got to work on changing your mindset from quantity to quality. John Maxwell talks about how he had to shift his priorities around. He had to make time for the people in his life that he wasn't. He was sacrificing all his time with the people that he loved. And it got to the point where he invited his family to come visit him. And they said, no, we're not coming over because even if we come over, we won't see you anyway. That's sad, right? So it's important to make time for the things that are really important to us in our life. You have to make time for your business. If you make no time for your business, then it's not going to grow, because literally everything is energy, and whatever you put your attention into is putting your energy into it. If you put your energy into it, it will grow. If you take your energy away from it and you put your energy into something else, that something else will grow and your business will suffer. So what did we focus on in May this month? Because May was a very different month than April. And I'm not alone here in saying that. I know that for a fact. So what did we do differently? What was our activity level differently in April than in May? Now, if you're saying this, and this could be true, and I'm kind of, I don't even know, should I say this? If you did the same level of activity in April than in May, and you got paid a lot more in April than you did in May, then the company did the work for you. So if that's the case, then just imagine if you treated every single day like 420, what would happen in your business if you increase that activity. Okay, so we got to work on making room for the things that really matter. If you want your business to grow, you have to make room for it. I think that's the hardest thing that we have to adapt to when we are new network marketers, or we're leaving the job world, or we're doing part-time job, part-time, business. You got to make time for it. You also have to make time for the things that you love, because if you don't make time for the things that you love, guess what? You're going to blame your business. And it's going to be one of the things you cut out of your life, even though it's something that can give you more of what you want in the future. Okay. Number 7, choose excellent over acceptable. Choose excellent over acceptable. People don't pay for average, right? People don't pay for average. So if your goal is to just be an average networker, then people are not going to want to join you. You don't want to be average networker. You want to be an excellent networker. You want to be the best that you can be, because leaders cannot rise on the wings of mediocrity. They can't. They'll just blend into the crowd. And the point of being a leader is to stand out, to see more, do more than the rest. So we have to personally challenge ourselves to not want to remain average, but to bust out of that paradigm and recreate what we really want in our life. If it's worth doing, give it your best. Otherwise, don't do it at all. Give your best in all things, or don't do them at all. Give your best in my daily choice. Have you really given your best? Ask yourself, ask your team. If you've done your best, then keep challenging yourself to keep growing. If you are not giving your best, if you know that you have a bigger potential within you that's locked up, that you haven't released, then unleash that beast, because it's time to do your best, or don't do it at all. You will never regret giving your best, ever. All right, number 8 is choose multiplication over addition. When people make the shift from doer to leader, they greatly increase the impact that their lives can make. One is too small of a number to make a difference. You cannot become successful in network marketing by yourself, okay? Now, maybe that's affiliate marketing, where you're just one person and you recruit everybody and you don't depend on anybody else recruiting or getting customers. You just were only dependent on yourself. In network marketing and MLM, in our business, you cannot do it by yourself. And so to become a leader, you have to increase that impact by working with many people. Leaders who gather followers add to what they can accomplish. So if you have the mindset that I'm going to grow my following, okay, you're going to add to what you can accomplish. But leaders who develop leaders multiply. They multiply their ability. If you are training somebody to do just as you do, you're creating little franchises within your organization. And if you're doing that, you're going to multiply your efforts. You're going to get the biggest bang for your buck if you're training people to do the things that you have learned how to do. And if you haven't learned how to do them, go to your back office, watch the training videos, take notes, read some books, get good at it, and then train the other people that are on your team to do the same. If you train them to be good at this industry and to succeed within this company, you're going to multiply your efforts and you're going to see real lasting residual income. But if you're increasing your following and you're just posting on Facebook and you're just trying to add people to your personal list without teaching or doing, or training your people, they're only going to do what they see you do, which is going to be very difficult to duplicate. All right. Next up, we have number 9. Oh, actually, one more thing before I go to number 9. To go to the highest level of leadership, you must learn to be a multiplier. All right. Number 9, choose a second half over another first half. So when I talked about if you were here during the CBD boom, that was your first half. Okay, first half's over. If this is a basketball game, You can't do the same thing that you did in the first half to win the game. You have to have an second half, and it's going to be a different plan. It's going to take different strategies. It's going to take a different level of passion and motivation and energy you have to bring to the table. Okay, so in the book Halftime, Bob Buford says the most people who are successful in the first half of their lives try to do the second half of their lives in the same way because it's what they know. But they're not going to have the same success if they try to repeat what they've already done. They're going to have to think outside the box, try new things, and continue to grow. If you hit a plateau, anybody ever reach a plateau in their business? Anybody ever flatlined before? Yes, we've all been there, done that. In fact, you have fancy charts in your back office now. I'm sure it looks like this, right? Does it not? Anybody's just, no. Yeah, you may plateau for a minute and then it's one or the other, right? We're in constant motion. There's nothing that rests for too long. So if you hit a plateau, do not redo the first half. Always choose the second half. And how you do that? You invest in people and you invest in new people. New people. So your first half, your first group of people that took you to wherever you went to, it's not going to be the second half. It's going to take new blood. It's going to take new people, okay, to take you to the next level in your career and also in your leadership. And you want to do things that live on after you're gone. So how do you do that? You create more leaders. That's the only way to create a legacy in network marketing and true residual income is if you are downloading your brain into others. Okay, you're giving them the gift of that mentorship. You're training them up. That's one thing that I was very blessed with Bob Proctor being my mentor is I spent so much time with him that it doesn't even feel like he's gone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I still ask him questions and I already know what he's going to say. I spend so much time that I know his answer to like questions I have in my own life. He's leaving a legacy in me because he put his brain in mine, basically. Do you know what I'm saying? So like when you are raising up a new leader in your organization, give them that, and that will be your legacy. Do things that live on after you're gone. If you're in your second half, keep paying the price so that you have something to offer if you're in your first half now, keep paying the price so you have something to offer in your second half. It's easier to stick with what's familiar, and we cling to that. But what's familiar is a trap. I'm going to tell you guys just a really quick story. We're almost wrapping this up here, but a really quick story. Josh and I, I said on a couple of calls ago, we were going back and forth. We were not deciding. We were going back and forth with, should we sell our house? Should we not sell our house? Are we just moving because we're just weird people that always move? Or like, is this the next chapter that we need to embrace, a new challenge? Or are we just getting comfortable? And so as soon as we made, this is crazy, but as soon as we made the decision, we decided we're going to stay here. We're going to just stay comfortable. We're going to stay here. In our hearts, we knew we needed to challenge ourselves to go someplace else. We knew that. However, we had decided to do the opposite. We decided to stand still. And the very next day, we received a phone call, and it was from our realtor. And he said, there's something in the contract that says you cannot stay. You have to sell your house. And what happened was our house appraised for lower, okay? And so we had an out. We had an out of our contract. We said, all right, well, they're going to offer us lower. We're going to say no. We're going to just stay where we're at. Well, the person decided to pay $400,000 over the appraisal. And if they did that, then that guarantees them the house and not us. So now we are forced to move. We're forced to get uncomfortable again. We're forced to pack things up and go through this uncomfortable growing process once again. And sometimes we think we're making decisions because we want to keep calm waters. We don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to stir things up. You have to stir things up, because if you don't, guess what? If you already put the intention out there into the universe that you want success, if you already put the intention out there that you want your team to grow, if you already put the intention out there that you want to become massively successful or whatever your thing is that you're putting out there, guess what? If you put that out there, electromagnetic frequency from your brain out to the universe, it's coming back to you, and it's not going to necessarily stop just because you make a quick decision to not have it. Because the only thing we don't know is time. We don't know when it's going to be delivered to us, and we don't know how it's going to be delivered to us either. It could be on a beautiful silver platter, or it could be in a freaking tornado. Like you have no idea how it's going to be delivered. And so that was our signal to us. It's time to move. It's time to get up. It's time to stretch, because if we're not stretching, we're not growing, right? And so we had to accept that so that we could get to our next level. Okay, so I just wanted to say that little quick story there, because sometimes you may think that this is what I really want, but I'm going to talk myself out of it, which is what we did. But if you put what you really want out there, sometimes it gets delivered, even though you've kind of changed your mind. All right. So be very intentional with what you put out there, because it's coming back. Are you willing to give up to go up? This is the last thing, and we're going to wrap this up. You have to let go of one thing in order to grasp a new one. If we want to make positive trades in our life, we have to remain open to them. We knew we were dissatisfied in our current house. We knew we were dissatisfied in our current situation. We knew that, but we weren't really willing to give it up because it was easy. It was comfortable. Okay, so if we wanted to make a positive trade, we had to be willing to give up our comfort in order to go to the next level. You have to be willing to give up your comfort to go to the next level. You have to not just give up your comfort, but you have to make a trade. If you want this, you have to give this up in order to get that. If you want to be a super affiliate, you're going to have to give up being a 250K affiliate. If you want to be a 25K affiliate, you got to stop being okay with being a 1K affiliate. That chapter's done. Hit it. Move on. Now it's time to get to the next, right? Don't be proud of yourself for hitting it the same month in a row. No, be upset that you didn't keep growing. All right. Every new level of growth we hope to experience as leaders calls for a new level of change. I know there is some resistance to all the change we put in the company, but guess what? We're not trying to be a stagnant, stale company that just coasts until we go out of business. That was never our intention. That was never our goal. Our goal is to be a billion-dollar company. Guess what? In order to be a billion-dollar company, we have to change, grow. We have to get uncomfortable. We have to get messy. We have to have glitches. We have to have crazy stuff happen along the way. We have to embrace it, because change is the catalyst for growth. If you want to become a better leader, get ready to make some trades. All right, Lincoln called for 500,000 troops on the front lines, and all his political advisors advised against it. They said, do not send 500,000 troops to the front lines, because if you do that, you're going to lose the election. You're going to piss off all the people if you do that, right? Not everybody wants to go to war. Like you're making us nervous doing that. He said, you know what? It's not necessary for me to be reelected. It's necessary for our men on the front lines to be reinforced. And so if I go down because of that, at least I'll go down with my colors flying. Abraham did that. And what happened? He was still successful. He risked it because he was doing the right thing. The self-aware leaders' questions for reflection. I'm going to leave with you guys today. Where am I currently taking the shorter road instead of making the more difficult choice that is likely to help my team or make me a better leader in the long run? Where am I taking the shortcuts? Where am I trying to make things easier? Am I asking for things to be easier versus developing myself and developing my team to grow? Because if you keep asking Josh and I to make things easier, it's not going to be good for you. Because at some point, you're going to have to accept things are going to have to get messy. Things are going to have to become difficult. They're going to have to be uncomfortable if you want to get to the next level. That's a part of success you have to embrace. And so that's what I'm going to leave with you guys today. Thank you so much, you guys, for hopping on, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.